here we go. Enter the game as a Doomsayer number 10 on the list. So I've had this idea that if I get either Doomsayer, Executioner, or Jester, that I'm going to go into the mod that lets you watch replays of the game. I'm going to go in, reveal all the roles as I just have, and then we're going to kind of go through the thought process of what we see, not only from my side, but everyone else's side as well. So I'm going to try and go with the fake claim as vet. As you can see over here on day 1, I said this is not a vet bait. So I'm like kind of planting that I could be vet, but 11, he claims secondary TPLO. So he's saying like, I'm a TI, but you don't have to go on me. I just want a TP just in case. We know he's arsonist right now, but that's a kind of good claim for him. He's kind of saying, come on to me with the town protector, look out if you want, if no one else claims, but it's kind of a soft TPLO claim. So you can see all the roles down here. We got Soul Collector, Baker as a neutral Apocalypse. We got Witch, Poisoner, Voodoo, and Enchanter as the Coven. We got an Executioner. And then as you can see right now, we got attacked night 1. So we're thinking, all right, we got attacked. We're screwed. Someone's going to out us with defense. And I'm debating on if I just open claim Doomsayer right now, or if I just say I got defense and got saved by something. But we see that 12, the deputy, was killed by the Coven. So that means for us, we know we were attacked by either a serial killer or a shroud, because an arsonist wouldn't be able to just deal a basic attack to us, and werewolf wouldn't either because he has to transform. No other roles would be able to attack us night 1 except for serial killer or shroud, so we've got to be on the lookout for that. 4 claims sheriff. He says that 4 is Inno. We can see that that's fake, so hold on to that thought. 4, the executioner, says that 14 and 2 are enemies. So we're saying, all right, Seer, most powerful TI in the game. We're going to go based off that. It's a 1-for-1. We can see that 2 is Witch and 14 is Admirer. Since 4 is Executioner, we know that his target is 14. So 2 ends up claiming, I'm TK. He doesn't really say anything else. But then 14 comes in a little bit later and says, I'm TS. He says, sorry. So 4 jumps in, says late. And then 2 comes in right after him, says very late. 14 is trying to say, I wasn't looking, oh my gosh. But he claims, open claims Admirer, and says that his obsession was town killing, which, as we can see, he's going to say he was a deputy because his obsession died, and now his town obsession is becoming, he's going to say, is a town support, which we know is 9. So he says, I was writing, I now need a town support, okay, but he was late. There's so many evils in this game that everyone was like, okay, it's a 1-for-1, TK versus TS, this guy was late, so they're all going to jump on him. We are thinking as a Doomsayer, all right, we got to Inno this guy. He is an open claiming role that we can guess. Doomsayer can guess any role except for Town Investigative. So we go for the Inno, but as you're about to see, he does end up getting guilty. So 9 says he'll Inno, okay, makes sense. He's a townie, he wants to see the Inno, he wants to see 2's will. We're going to pause it right here. We're going to go through the votes. 1, Soul Collector, guiltied, obviously. He wants heat taken off himself. Same goes for 2. 3 actually abstains, which is weird because his Witch is in a 1-for-1 with somebody, so that's a weird abstain for him. Executioner obviously is going to guilty his target. 5 Innos, Town, makes sense. 6 guilties, Voodoo, again, 1-for-1 with the Witch. Baker guilties, he wants as many people to die. I'm guessing 14 didn't have bread, so, I mean, we can't know that for sure, but he guilties, gets him off the list. Then we can see that 7, Trickster, he Inno'd. 9, Tavern Keeper Inno'd, and then we Inno'd, and then the rest are either abstains or guilties. The 2 neutral killings abstain because they're trying to make as much chaos as possible, and keeping other people alive kind of makes it a little bit more chaos, which is good for them. Obviously, 14 gets guiltied here, 6-4, so it was a close vote. So if 2 of these people flipped, it would have gotten Inno'd. But we're going to resume the game right here. And then 8's like, what does it mean that you need a TS? So Admirer is trying to look for his obsession, and now his obsession's a TS. Doesn't matter. He says goddamn, and then we can see the Executioner comes in for the Torment. So down goes 14. Seer ends up being the Executioner. He leaves town in victory, and we're saying, all right, what are we going to do? We saw all these guilties. There are 6 guilties out there. We're going to take a random shot and say 3 of them are Coven. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to put down some guesses here in a second. Nighttime comes. You can only guess at night. You can't guess night 1. It used to be as Doomsayer you could guess night 1, but they took that away when people would just guess 3 Coven completely randomly. And all right, so here we go. I guessed 1, 15 is 8 are Coven. So 1 and 8 are actually neutral Apocalypse, but we do guess that 15 is Coven. So we end up taking in the whiff, but you know, it's a good strategy to take people who guilty townies that they're evil. So we take the guess. We had a 4 out of 7 chance pretty much to hit the Coven, but it's good for us that the Coven are at full strength. They have 4 people in there. We also know that there's a neutral killing out there too, but here we go. We're gonna see something. I get roadblocked. So I don't know if it was the Poisoner or the Tavern Keeper right now, but we get roadblocked. We don't actually get to guess, which sucks for us. But who died? We got 5 dying, 5's the bodyguard, 1 more townie down. So now there's only 2 townies left. So that sucks for Town. Town really never had a chance in this game with so many evils. It would have been a very difficult game unless we were able to come in and, you know, guess 3 Coven, get those 3 off the list. But, you know, with 2 neutral killings, 2 neutral Apocalypse, and 4 Coven, like, it was going to be tough anyway. Voodoo Master goes down. This confirms what we were thinking. There is a serial killer in the game. We actually need the Doom 3 neutral players. So we're thinking, okay, maybe someone's a Jester in there. Maybe there's some neutral evils. Maybe some neutral Apocalypse. But we can't know for sure in the moment. But obviously we can see that there is a possibility for 3 neutrals. 15, the Enchanter, comes in and says that we're in the Evil Will. We're in the 1, 13, and 10. 11 sees his mistake and says that night 1, he invested 3 and not 4. He said that 4 was Inno. So no one really caught that right now, but he just kind of outs himself right here. 10 open claims SK. I claim Town killing. He says 10 has defense, so we're like, all right, we're screwed here. 9 claims Tavern Keeper. He says he was Witch, so he's like, I'm Witched, I'm out to Coven, just gonna come out as Tavern Keeper. We're like, okay, boom, 1 guy. Know for sure he's Tavern Keeper, hopefully. He says he was Witched into me, so we know that that probably means that he's Tavern Keeper, since a Poisoner obviously wouldn't claim Witch. It ends up going between 11 and 13 right here. 13 says, I'm getting Witched though if he stays alive, because the Coven are going to use the SK as basically a second kill. So 4 was X. 11 saw him as Inno, so we know he's fake, but he tried to cover his tracks by saying 3 was his actual target, but as you can see, 3 also would have shown as suspicious. He says, Tarnation, well, do y'all a favor, I'm Arso. So we're like, okay, we got a Tavern Keeper, we got an Arsonist, we got a Serial Killer. Alright, that's the 3. We're gonna hope that this gets Inno'd, but it's probably not. Like, there's 2 townies left. We try and go for the Inno, but there's 2 townies. Everyone else is evil. Anyone else doesn't want to go for the big Ignite, but he claims that 15 didn't visit him. So 15 is fake. So he would have seen the Douse. 15 said he went on him night 1. We don't know for sure if that's true or if Arsonist is just trying to throw someone under the bus as he parts, but 7, me, and the Serial Killer go for the Innocent. You know, 7, he's trying to get Chaos, you know. He knows Town's on the back foot. He knows there's 4 Coven left. Hopefully, or knows there's 3 Coven left. Hopefully the Arsonist could ignite. But he ends up getting guiltied, revealed as Arsonist. So then I'm thinking, all right, 15 didn't visit him. He's evil. Do we know what evil? No. But I'm going to take a shot and think, okay, we got the Tavern Keeper. We got the SK. 15, there's 3 Coven left. That's probably our best shot. So we're going to guess Coven right here. So 15 Coven, 9 Tav, 13 neutral killing, which as you can see from the list is correct, correct, and correct. So we don't know that in the moment, but we're thinking to ourselves, okay, we got this. We're going to speed this up a little bit to go through the night a little quicker, but as you can see, clock hit 0. Someone tried to roll block us, but we chose wisely. All 3 rolls are correct. So it actually worked out really well that they witched the Tavern Keeper into me, and then the Poisoner tried to rollblock me, because if they don't witch the Tav into me, they rollblock me and I don't get the win. Trickster ends up going down, so now there is no townies left except for the Tavern Keeper, who's doomed anyway, and they're gonna lose. So Town is pretty much out of the game. 15 whispers me. He asks if that was me. I'm like, yep, and he says, silly guy. So Baker ends up going down too, so to the serial killer. So right now we know there's another neutral apocalypse out there because the Baker would have had defense if he was solo. The SK only had 1 kill because he hit us night 1, so we know he didn't have rampage. Speed this up again to get through this a little quicker. And here's a Doomsayer win animation. We get the win, we leave town, and here we go. So we can move around now. 15 says, aha, 15, 9, and 13 are all doomed. So these 3 are off the list. And then 3, 2, and 1 are going to be the guys who are alive tomorrow. So 15 says, okay, we have to up 13. They know he's SK. He's thinking, okay, maybe the serial killer can kill one of the Coven. And then he kind of clicks right here in a second that they are going to be able to win no matter what. Because these 3 go down. Even if the SK kills one of these guys, you know, they think, all right, one must be Town. So they're thinking, okay, we can just win. It's a 3v3, they're saying, but we know it's a 3v1v1v1. Thing is, Soul Collector has defense right now. So if they don't vote out 13 and 13 kills either 3 or 2, Soul Collector is going to win because it'll be a 1v1. Soul Collector does end up getting up though. He's the non-Coven that they're going to vote up. And I don't know exactly. 3 voted them. 13 voted them. So the serial killer ends up voting him up, thinking, okay, maybe he's Coven. Maybe there's less than 3 Coven left, and they're just trying to go for a gambit here. But 1 claims Psychic. He says he was silenced, but his time's up. He's about to get guilty. We'll just kind of go through this a little quick right here. Just get over with. He gets guilty 3-2. So gets guilty 3-2. Obviously, the 3 Coven go for the guilties, and the Tavern Keeper and the serial killer go for the innos, but it's over. No matter what happens, as long as the Poisoner and Witch don't visit the same target and get hit by a serial killer rampage, we know it's over. So, Tavern Keeper dies, 13 the SK dies, and 15 the Enchanter will all die to Doom, leaving just 3 and 2 as the victors. So we see that down goes 13, down goes 9, and down goes 15, leaving 2 and 3 as the last survivors. They are both Coven. Coven are get the win. So we end up getting the win. Coven gets the win. Executioner gets the win. So looks good for us. We're just going to fast forward through all this because it didn't really make a difference. But I don't know. I feel like this was kind of fun to go through, you know, just seeing like, okay, what are the thought process behind the people that we're playing? You know, it's a little different than just going through a straight commentary, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you like this kind of format, but Coven wins. We win. GG's. Good luck in your next game, and we'll see you next time.